Hello everyone. In this session, we're going to look at one of the important area for the bookkeeping, and that is called bank reconciliation. So here we're going to see how to reconcile the bank. Now, if you already know what is the bank reconciliation, that is wonderful. But if you don't know, you have to understand what is bank reconciliation and why we do that. So every company have a cash book, and every company have a record on the bank as well. So at the end of the day, they want to know, is the cash book actually match with the bank statement balance? Also, sometimes when you have a bank opening balance and when you input all the transaction, we like to see, is the closing balance match with the bank statement or not? For that reason, to keep my bank up to date with the right balance, we need to reconcile it. Let's have a look some step for the QuickBooks Online, how to do it. So here we have a two button. Either we can go to the settings and just click reconcile, or from the accounting menu we can choose that as well. So you can just say reconcile, or we can go to the accounting and choose reconcile. It's the same thing. Now as soon as the reconcile page open, the first thing we will see what we are going to reconcile. Normally the business have a business current account and the credit card account. Now here we are looking at the business current account. So which account do you like to reconcile? So we are telling we like to reconcile the business current account. So we said that's fine. Now we have to click resume reconcile, or if you see reconcile, just click it here and it will take us to the reconciliation page. It's very important to understand few things that I'll explain all of you before we do the actual reconciliation. So let's wait for the page to pop up. So you can see here they are saying here what's happening. So if we already have the opening balance, that is we can see here the opening balance, there's a statement ending balance 60,000 and the clear balance 54,930, beginning balance is this. Now let's try to understand this thing before we go into detail. So this is the money we had beginning of the balance. Now the balance could be any day. So when we did the last reconciliation, on last day of the statement, for example 31st of November, we have a balance 79,000. Then after we make a payment this amount and we receive some money. So it's very simple. If I have 79,000 pound, I'm gonna add how much I receive and I'm gonna take away or deduct how much I paid. So whatever is the difference, that will be our closing balance. Now the closing balance should be 54,930. So you can see it here, but I can see the statement balance 60. Now for that reason, the balance, the difference is 5,069. Now this is just the example I have created. Now if you think like, oh, my balance is matching, so why I have to create the difference? All you have to do, you have to click the info, and if I say my closing balance is 54,930.03, and the statement date, the closing date, the date you are reconciling your bank. It could be 31st of December, 31st of November. If you do reconciliation every week, it will be the date you are reconciling. And if you are happy with that, all you have to do, you have to click save. And now we can see the difference is become 0. So it says my balance should be 54,000, the closing balance, and actually the statement balance is 54,930. So it's matching. If it is match, the difference will be here 0. So it's very important to understand. Difference is 0. That means there is no difference. I'm happy to reconcile. Our aim or our goal will be to make it 0. The difference should be 0. If it is not 0, we have to find the reason why it is. Now let's say you have the 0 balance. Now when you say it like this, statement balance, what is that balance? That balance on the day you are reconciling. So for example, if I am reconciling my statement 31st of December, that means on that day, how much is the closing balance on the bank statement? That means how much money we have on that day on the bank. So we need to record this money here. So when I click this edit information, this is the money I have on 31st of December, so I have to enter this balance. So if all the transaction is entered correctly, it should give you the difference 0. If not, then it will give you some difference. Now let's have a look little bit detail. So the information we have here, it shows clearly we have 40 payments and have 3 deposit. Now we can see separately, if we click on the payment, it will show us the 40 payment. All the 40 payment is here. 40 payment means the payment we have made to our supplier for expense for any reason. On the other hand, we have 3 deposit, the money we have received. Normally we receive the money from our customer, and that's why it's the debtor accounts. So 3 customer, they paid some money to us, and if I added these 3, 10, 9 and 7, it will give us 28,000. So we received this money, we paid this money to the supplier for whatever reason. And after that, my bank should have this money on the bank, and the bank said, yes, I have this money. So I'm very happy, we can reconcile it. Now, it is also possible sometimes you receive a check or you paid a check to someone, to your customer, you receive a check or you give a check to your supplier, but they didn't give it to the bank. So let's say on 1st of December, I give a check to someone, but this person didn't go to the bank until next 2-3 months. Or it is possible you receive a check from your customer, but you didn't deposit it. But once you obviously receive a check, you record to your book, and let's say if you deposit to the bank at the end of the month, let's say you receive a check on 31st of December and you give it to the bank, but you're not going to see this check on that month statement because check takes 2 to 3 days to clear. So you might see this check on the next month but not this month. Very, very careful with that. This is called unpresented check, or it is called outstanding lodgement. So if I receive a check from customer and the bank didn't clear it yet because I deposited the check at the end of the month, so we called it outstanding lodgement. That means something is still outstanding. Maybe my cash book will show I have more money because I received the check, I deposited the check, but the bank will say I have less money. Nothing to worry, because bank will say it take 3 days to clear, so you're going to see this check on next month bank statement but not this month. The same thing could happen when I give a check to someone and this person didn't go to the bank. We called it unpresented check. So this person maybe will not go to the bank. For that reason, bank can say I have more money but cash books are less. This is not our concern. We can see it different way. So for example, let's see if I look at the payment, and on the payment I can see there is a lot of payment, but on the last I can see there is one payment is not ticked yet. That means this check number 2077, I give it to one of the supplier, but he didn't go to the bank, or maybe he gave it to the bank but the bank did not clear this balance yet. So 471.78, the last one, check number 2077, this one is not clear yet. Remember that if something is not clear, we're not going to tick it because this is not on the bank statement. How do I know some check is cleared or not cleared? I can look at the bank statement sent by the bank to me. I can see, oh, I look at the cash book, or this transaction is not on the bank statement, check number 2077. So I understand this check is not clear yet, so I have to untick it because the bank did not clear it yet. If I click it, then the bank will not be reconciled. So for example, if I click it, the difference will come 471.78. So I have to make it untick because this check still need to be cleared by the bank next month. It is possible for any sort of transaction, so we need to check anything on the bank statement. We only upload that transaction. Now if your bank is already connected to the QuickBook, the information come automatically to the bank. If not, you can download your bank feed from the bank login. If you log into your bank account, you can download all this to CSV format and you can upload to the QuickBook, and you can after that tick match. So it has to be like only the clear balance. Now obviously, like we already know how it work, obviously the balance, I will still show you some how the balance goes up and down, but before that Let's try to finish it. I said, okay, I'm happy because all the transaction I have, clear transaction is a match, and my bank closing balance match with the balance I have. So I'm very happy. So what I'll do, I'll say finish now. Even though if you have some difference, if you click finish now, the bank will be still reconciled and the difference will be automatically adjusted through a journal. But don't do it because you have to find the reason why it is not reconciled. So it said you are reconciled this account. I said very well done, done. And once I do this one, there will be a new column or new account will be created. This is called history by account. We can always click that. History by account will show us the bank reconciliation statement, and I can look at the report. For example, this is the reconciliation I have done, which date 31st of December 2022, and I have done which date 10th of June. This is the today's date. 10th of June is the today. And I can see the ending balance 54,930. This ending balance will follow on my QuickBook. So if I like to see the whole report, I just click view the report, and let me show you how interesting it is. You can see the whole report. Now we can see here we have, this was the beginning balance on the bank, and after that we have some payment, we have some receipt, and right now we have this money on the bank. On top of them we have some unclear transaction. You can see £471. This we didn't take because it's not clear by the bank yet, but it's still showing here. Now you can see on the register, that means our cash book, we have a record where we write it down, could be in the Excel or in the manual book. It says we have 54,458. Bank said we have a little bit more money. You can see it, bank said 54,930, but we are saying we have 458. Why? Because 471, the check I give it to someone, he didn't go to the bank yet, is unpresented check. For that reason I'm saying I have a less money. I don't have to do anything. It's just to understand, I give a check to someone, they didn't go to the bank, or the bank did not clear it yet, but very soon, a week after or next month, I'm going to see it anyway. Nothing to worry for that. And you can see the breakdown of that. This is the deposit, clear transaction, this is the unclear transaction, and also this is all the payment. You can see this is the report we have here. It's a very important. You can get this report, you can print it out, or you can send it by email if you like. Now let me show you a little bit about like how this work, the bank reconciliation. For example, if I make a payment for a bill, so let's say I want to go to expense, and I go to expense, and I would like to make a payment for a bill or for a check. Now I can pay straight away through the check, or like if I pay immediately, or if I see is there any bill that is outstanding, I like to pay this bill. So both are possible, and obviously like the system will show which bill is outstanding, or you like to make a payment. For example, let's say I want to this bill, Mark Howard, £1,250. This is like due, total 1,500. So I said make a payment. So this bill I have created before, and maybe it's not due yet, but I like to make a payment. So I said make a payment, and it will ask me from which account I like to pay. So I like to pay from the credit card account, I like to pay from the current account. Now if I pay from the current account, obviously the balance we have, it will go down every time I make a payment. And our invoice, if we receive a money from the customer, this balance will go up automatically. So let's have a look. If we make a bill payment, what happened? So we can see here we have a bill payment. So pay, I'm paying to Mark Howard, and which account I'm using is very important. Current account I'm using. I'm paying which date, 10th of June, and you can see right now we have a balance of 54,450. This is my reconciled balance. After the reconciliation, I have this money on the bank. Now obviously if I make any payment, this balance will go down. Let's check it. So if I pay £1,500 from this account, how much money will be left? So I said I want to make the payment. I say save and new. So 1,500 will be deducted from 54,000. So let's have a look. Now as soon as I click saved and new, you see the new balance for my QuickBook, according to like the transaction, it should be 52,000. So 1,500 is going down. That means from the bank to 1,500 is gone. Same story for the invoice. Let's say if I like to say one of the customer paid to me. So if I go to sales, and if I go to the invoice, And if I like to see like an invoice, I said like the customer just paid today, so this money will go up. So let's have a look at that. Let's we have a some overdue invoice, and we have a Benjamin and it's overdue. So I just want to record this customer paid to me. I say receive payment. This invoice I have created when the customer buys something from me or I have sold something to that customer. So I said now I'm going to record I received this money. So what will happen, I will say I received the customer from Benjamin, which account I deposit to, on my current account. And how much I received? 960. Very good. Now you can see, if you remember, our balance was something 52. Let's make it a little bit more. Let's say if I try to say I receive more money, let's say I 5,000. And we need to change it, so we need to go from the invoice. If I like to change it, I don't think so you can change from here. We have to go to the actual invoice to say it, but just to say like 960 we have received, and we just click here, save and close, and this time you will see our bank balance will go up by 960. So what I try to explain here, if we make a payment, then the balance will go down from the bank, and if we receive the money, the bank will go up. And that's how at the end of the day we need to see which one is clear, which one is not clear by reconciliation. Normally if the company is really big, then they do bank reconciliation every week, but if the company is not very big, they can, if the transaction is not very much, then they can do every month or every 2 months. It depends how many transactions they have and how long it takes. But we need to make sure like the opening balance is always correct. Remember that when you do the bank reconciliation, the opening balance always has to be correct, and if the opening balance is not correct, your bank will never be reconciled. So you need to make sure opening balance correct, you have a correct amount of deposit and the payment, and you enter the right closing balance and enter the date you want to reconcile it, and that's it. And that's how we can do the bank reconciliation. If you need to understand what is bank reconciliation in details, maybe you have to look at the bank reconciliation videos, but here I have just shown how to reconcile it on the QuickBooks Online. Thank you very much everyone for watching.